Be honest. Okay, how many people here, when you think of forgiveness and just whatever, life going on, life in past, how many people can think of somebody or something that has caused them harm or hurt? Okay? Okay. Now, a lot of, it's just a huge issue, right? Well, here's what I need, okay? I need somebody to help me with this. You don't have to tell me who it is. You don't have to say what they did. I only need you to do is just to write it on a piece of paper and just that only you will keep, okay? Can somebody help me do that? Anybody? Would you help me? Okay. What's your name? Annette. Okay. Annette, could you, this is going to be a little weird, but trust me on this, okay? Okay. Could you write down the person's name and write what they did, the offense, on a piece of paper? Just for you. You're going to get rid of this thing, okay? So you can tear it off. Okay. 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 Now, Annette's writing down. It's Annette, right? Annette. Okay. Annette. And so Annette is writing it down, and I'm going to have her do something 1 second. Tell me when you're done. And now here's where this whole idea came from. It came from right here. One day after church, I met a couple, and she came up first, and he followed her. She was like crying, and he looked so mad, like, honey, what do you make you just go to the prayer room? Which is like a terrifying thing for a dude, right? Like, what do y'all do behind there? Anyways, like it looks kind of creepy to me. And the thing is so I started talking to him, and I said, what's going on? And they said, our marriage is in a lot of trouble. And I said, well, like what kind of trouble? And they said, like divorce. And I said, well, what, like a scale of 1 to 10, where are you at? 1 being, bliss, and 10 being divorce. And they're like 12. Like, oh man. And I'm going, okay, well, can you guys come in and to my office and we'll talk this week? And they did. Okay, now, are you done yet? Okay. Okay. Now here's what I want you to do, if you could. Can you go, stand up, and can you exit? Yes, you're cool. You're cool. This is kind of, it's more of a private thing. Can you go to the ladies' restroom, crumble your paper up, and throw it in the toilet and flush it? I know. I'm dead serious. I know. We won't mic you. I promise. We won't mic it. Okay. And then once you flush it, can you come back in? Thank you. Okay. Now watch this. Okay. She's doing that. Okay. There's a whole point here. Okay. So this couple, so then they come to my office and they're just blasting each other. I'm like, she's listing everything he's ever done wrong. And he's just firing back. Well, the reason why I did this is he can attach everything he's ever done wrong to what she's done wrong. Right? How many couples can identify? No one raised their hand on that side. Okay, here we go. Okay, I'm not asking you to be honest, okay? Everybody erase your mind. You didn't see anybody's hands. I'm teasing. And then, so no, we can all understand, because when someone makes us mad, then we do something to get them back or agitate them or irritate them. And so they're just going back and forth for like an hour. And I'm like, okay, you guys, listen. I said, are you believers? Yeah, we're believers. Have you truly forgiven them? Yes, we have. And my mouth dropped. Like, you have not forgiven each other. And I'm like, okay, here's what I want you to do. I want you to write out everything that they've done to harm you and hurt you, to cause you pain, that you're mad about, that you want to punish them for. Man, they wrote and they wrote and they wrote and they filled up the paper. You want to come on in? Thanks. You can grab your seat, because I'm going to ask you a couple questions real quick, okay? That was probably weird, huh? You've never done that in church before. Yeah. And then, okay, so then what I did is I took them and I had them write it down. Now, my old office used to be, when you go in the main offices and go down the conference room, it was right there by those restrooms. And so I said, come with me. And so we walked up and we went in the guy's bathroom. We stood over the toilet, the three of us, just looking down at the toilet. And I said, okay, now I want you to throw in those pieces of paper into the toilet. And it's just like, he was cool. Dudes are usually cool. Okay, so he let his go because he wants nothing but peace, right? Her, on the other hand, I think she had a whole separate paper, okay? So hers did, it just kept one just for memory, okay? And I like, no, come clean. And so they threw it in, and I said, okay, now what I want you to do is I want you to flush it. They wouldn't flush it. They're just looking at it. And I'm like, you guys, it's not a sensor, okay? Right? It's not going to flush. It's old school. It's got a handle, right? I know it's hard to remember those days, but they used to have to flush their own toilet. And they just stood there, and I'm like, flush the toilet. And they knew exactly what we were doing. They were sending this stuff away. As we stood on that toilet, and one of them, I can't even remember which one it was now, but one of them leaned over and just flushed it. And we just watched as it made the circle, and it just went down the tunnel. And I went back in my office. I said, okay, I said, that's forgiveness. I said, if you want to talk about that stuff again, if you want to punish your partner, then you go get that paper again. I'm like, now, and then, what if you know what that was. And obviously it was something that was very personal to you. So today, like, you can hear scripture, you could, you know what I'm saying? You could hear scripture, you could say, I know I need to forgive, I know I need to send it away, let it go. You send it away. Now, could you get that back if you wanted to? Why? It's gone. Like, would it be ridiculous if we all left and Annette waited in her chair and she goes in there? All right? Would that be ridiculous? It would, right? Because, like, is it this far? Would it be ridiculous if she started, like, taking the pick and finding the water line and going, I wonder if it's here, or looking in the gutter for it? And then what if she went to the water treatment plant and she said, okay, well, I put it in church around, like, whatever it is, 5:40? I mean, what time would it get the screen, for me to get that paper back? Do you see that? You see how ridiculous that would be, right? Do you know that that's how ridiculous it is for us to try to go get sins back that are forgiven? And we do that all the time. We'll send something away, we'll let it go, we'll give it up, we'll yield to it, we'll no longer discuss it, and then the thoughts come to us. But the reality is that sometimes when we send something away supernaturally, it's gone. Out of the message. Much emotion here, because this is big. This is a big deal. When Paul's writing this in Colossians 2:14, this is the question: how can God forgive like that? How can God forgive to a point where he sends something away, never to see it, never have it returned, never to go get it again? And this is what it boils down to. It says, think of this: all sins forgiven, the slate wiped clean, the old arrest warrant canceled and nailed to Christ's cross. That's a mouthful. Okay, that's a mouthful. Let's digest it a little bit. All sins forgiven, slate wiped clean. Okay, when God forgives all of your sin, when you came to Jesus and say, Jesus, I believe that you died on the cross for me, all sin is forgiven. Sin that you knew about, sin that you didn't know about. Now, who doesn't want that deal?